Ab Story 1. On the night of September 29, 2023, the serene wilderness of Banff National Park was shattered by a chilling incident that would remind all adventurers of the unforgiving power of nature. An alert was sent from an in-reach GPS device at approximately 8 p.m., signaling an emergency in the backcountry. The message reached a specialized response team trained for wildlife attacks, but the elements were unkind that night. A storm rolled across the landscape, grounding helicopters and forcing the team to take a grueling overnight journey by road. Through winding roads and under a thick blanket of darkness, the team made their way, every mile carrying an air of urgency. They finally arrived at the remote location at 1 a.m. on September 30. What awaited them was nothing short of harrowing. 2 lifeless bodies lay amid the rugged terrain, along with the body of their dog, Tress. The signs were unmistakable. This was the work of a grizzly bear, a predator unrivaled in the North American wilderness. The victims were later identified as Doug Inglis and Jenny Goosai, a couple well known among outdoor enthusiasts for their adventurous spirit and love for the wild. Both were experienced hikers and campers who had ventured into this particular stretch of Banff numerous times. Tragically, their deep connection with the wilderness led to their untimely deaths. The grizzly bear responsible for the carnage remained in the area, a chilling testament to the apex predator's dominance over its territory. When the response team arrived, they encountered the bear, displaying aggressive behavior that left no room for negotiation. For the safety of everyone, the bear was euthanized on the spot, a grim but necessary measure. Upon examination, the grizzly showed signs of being an older animal, possibly struggling with the challenges of finding food as winter approached. What drove the bear to such extremes remains speculative. Some experts point to the scarcity of food late in the season, which can make even normally elusive bears more dangerous. Others wonder if the bear had experienced prior human encounters that conditioned it to see campsites as potential food sources. Regardless of the exact reason, the result was tragic and sobering. Doug and Jenny were no strangers to the risks of the backcountry. They had taken precautions, including carrying bear spray and storing food properly. Yet, the remoteness of their chosen site meant that help was hours away, even under ideal conditions. The storm that night sealed their fate, delaying the response and leaving them vulnerable to nature's fury. This horrifying incident serves as a stark reminder of the power and unpredictability of the wild. For those who dare to venture into the backcountry, there are lessons to be learned. First and foremost, never underestimate the risks, even if you are experienced. Carry multiple layers of defense against wildlife, including bear spray, noise-making devices, and bear-proof storage for food and scented items. Always check in with local park officials about recent wildlife activity, and consider carrying a firearm if local regulations and your training allow. Finally, have a clear plan for emergencies and make sure someone knows your exact route and itinerary. As you pack for your next adventure, remember that preparation is not just about survival gear. It's about understanding the environment and respecting the wild. Nature is neither cruel nor kind, it simply is. It's up to us to navigate its beauty and danger with humility and vigilance. Stay safe, and may your journeys into the wilderness be filled with awe, not tragedy. Story 2. On the morning of July 22, 2023, a hiker traversing the quiet Buttermilk Trail, about 8 miles west of West Yellowstone, Montana, stumbled upon a scene that would chill even the most seasoned adventurer. Lying lifeless amidst the forested landscape was the body of 48-year-old Amy Adamson. What should have been a peaceful outing in the wilderness had ended in tragedy. Investigators from the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife and Parks, MFWP, arrived swiftly. Grizzly bear tracks surrounded the scene, and the signs of a violent struggle were evident. The coroner's office later confirmed that Adamson had died from severe blood loss caused by a mauling. It was a grim and sobering reality, a fatal encounter with one of North America's most formidable predators. The Buttermilk Trail, known for its beauty and remoteness, is a gateway to the wild, attracting hikers seeking solace and connection with nature. However, this same allure also makes it a habitat for large predators like grizzly bears, which roam the region's dense forests and rugged terrain. It's unclear what led to Adamson's fatal encounter. Was it a surprise meeting on the trail, a bear protecting its cub, or a food source? These questions remain unanswered, but the result was devastating. Amy Adamson's death sent shockwaves through the community of West Yellowstone, a town that thrives on its proximity to Yellowstone National Park and its abundant wildlife. Locals and visitors alike were reminded of the inherent risks of venturing into bear country, where humans are merely guests, in an ecosystem dominated by apex predators. But the story did not end there. Weeks later, on September 2, 2023, the same grizzly responsible for Adamson's death resurfaced in chilling fashion. Wildlife officials received a call about a bear breaking into a home near West Yellowstone. When they arrived, they found a mother bear accompanied by her cub rummaging through the property. The bear's behavior was bold and uncharacteristically aggressive, a sign that it had lost its natural fear of humans, a dangerous trait for any large predator. Officials quickly identified the bear through DNA analysis as the same one involved in Adamson's mauling. This bear had a troubling history. It had injured a person near an Idaho state park back in 2020. Now, faced with the escalating threat it posed to human safety, the wildlife team made the difficult decision to euthanize the grizzly. The cub was captured and transferred to a wildlife facility where it could be cared for away from human interactions. Grizzly bears, though magnificent, are unpredictable and territorial creatures. Encounters with humans can turn deadly, especially when a bear feels threatened or has become habituated to associating humans with food. In this case, the bear's repeated boldness around humans suggested it had crossed a dangerous line, making coexistence impossible. The tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the delicate balance between humans and wildlife in areas like Yellowstone. For those who venture into bear country, preparation and awareness are critical. Carry bear spray and know how to use it. It's your best defense in an unexpected encounter. Make noise while hiking to avoid surprising a bear, and always travel in groups when possible. Store food and scented items in bear-proof containers, and respect all posted warnings or closures in known bear activity areas. Story 3. The quiet focus of a group of soldiers preparing for a land navigation training site was violently disrupted on a crisp spring morning. What began as a routine assignment turned into a deadly encounter with one of nature's most formidable predators. Deep in a remote stretch of forest, as the soldiers mapped out the terrain for their course, they unknowingly ventured too close to the den of a grizzly bear sow. What followed was a harrowing incident that would claim the life of one soldier and leave the others scarred by a chilling brush with death. The team of soldiers was tasked with marking key waypoints and assessing the forested area for the upcoming exercise. They moved methodically through the thick undergrowth, their boots crunching over fallen branches and patches of snow. Unbeknownst to them, their activity roused a grizzly sow from her den, where she had been sheltering after a long winter. Startled and protective of her territory, the bear erupted from the den with startling ferocity. Before anyone could react, the massive animal charged. Standing between 6 and 7 feet tall, on all fours, and weighing several hundred pounds, the grizzly was a force of nature in motion. Its powerful muscles propelled it through the underbrush with alarming speed, making it clear that the soldiers had crossed into its domain. 2 of the soldiers were caught in the initial onslaught. One was knocked off his feet with a single swipe of the bear's enormous paw, sending him sprawling into the dirt. The other soldier attempted to fend off the attack, shouting and waving his arms, but he too was thrown to the ground by the sheer power of the charging animal. The bear's ferocity was unmatched. It acted with the raw instinct of a mother protecting her cubs, even though none were visible at the scene. Chaos ensued as the rest of the group scrambled to respond. Some yelled in an attempt to scare off the bear, while others reached for their gear, but the assault was relentless. The bear focused its aggression on one of the soldiers on the ground, mauling him with devastating force. The others, unable to intervene directly without escalating the attack, worked frantically to create noise and distraction, eventually driving the sow back toward her den. When the bear finally retreated, the aftermath was devastating. One of the soldiers lay motionless, his injuries severe. Despite the immediate application of first aid and the desperate efforts of his comrades, his wounds were too extensive. By the time emergency responders arrived, he had succumbed to his injuries, his life tragically cut short in the prime of his service. The name of the fallen soldier was later released. Sergeant James Bradley, a dedicated serviceman and beloved member of his unit. The date, etched forever in the memories of his colleagues, was April 14th, 2023. The loss of Sergeant Bradley sent shockwaves through the military community and beyond. His death highlighted the unpredictable dangers of operating in wilderness areas, where human activities can inadvertently provoke wildlife. In the weeks that followed, military officials conducted a thorough review of the incident. The findings underscored the importance of heightened awareness and preparation when conducting operations in bear territory. Grizzly bears, especially sows with cubs, or those emerging from hibernation, are highly defensive of their space. A startled bear can react with explosive aggression, perceiving any intruder as a threat. In this case, the soldier's proximity to the den likely triggered the attack, leaving little time for the team to react or defuse the situation. While the military has protocols for operating in bear country, this tragedy serves as a stark reminder that no precautions can entirely eliminate the risks. The unpredictable nature of wildlife means that even well-trained individuals can find themselves in life-threatening situations. For those venturing into areas inhabited by large predators, there are critical lessons to take away from this harrowing incident. Always be aware of your surroundings and recognize the signs of bear activity, such as tracks, scat, or disturbed vegetation. Carry bear spray and know how to use it effectively. It can be a life-saving tool in an encounter. Make noise as you move through dense areas to avoid surprising a bear, and if you spot one from a distance, back away slowly while keeping the animal in sight. In the event of a direct encounter with a grizzly bear, resist the urge to run, as this can trigger a chase response. Instead, remain calm, speak in a low, firm voice, and use your bear spray if the bear comes within range. If a bear charges and contact is unavoidable, play dead by lying flat on your stomach with your hands clasped over the back of your neck, minimizing movement until the bear loses interest and leaves the area. Story 4. Clawat had set out into the Absaroka Beartooth Wilderness just days before, seeking solitude and adventure in the vast expanse of forested mountains. It was a setting he knew well, one where he felt comfortable and prepared. But even the most seasoned adventurer cannot predict every danger lurking in the wild. As investigators later pieced together the story, it became clear that Clotra had fallen victim to a grizzly bear, likely one roused from its winter torpor and driven by a primal need to feed. The exact circumstances of the attack remain a mystery, but the clues left behind told a harrowing tale. Clawat's campsite was discovered a short distance from his body, scattered with signs of an intense struggle. His belongings, shredded gear, overturned cookware painted a picture of a desperate fight for survival. The bear, likely weighing several hundred pounds, would have attacked with terrifying speed and strength, using its claws and powerful jaws to subdue its prey. The discovery of Clotra's body was made by a search party after friends reported him overdue. The scene they encountered was haunting, the kind that sticks with rescuers long after the mission is over. His injuries were severe, consistent with a predatory attack, and the area bore clear signs of a bear's presence. Tracks, claw marks, and tufts of fur were found nearby, confirming that a grizzly had been responsible for the fatal encounter. March is a precarious time in bear country. As winter releases its grip, grizzlies emerge from hibernation, hungry and irritable, their instincts honed for survival after months of fasting. This transitional period is when bears are at their most unpredictable, often venturing into areas they might avoid later in the season. Clotra, through no fault of his own, likely crossed paths with one of these animals at the worst possible time. The attack on Clotra sent shockwaves through the small, close-knit community of Livingston, Montana, where he was well known and respected. Friends and family described him as a kind, adventurous spirit with a deep love for the outdoors. His tragic death was a sobering reminder that even those with the utmost respect and knowledge of nature are not immune to its dangers. In the weeks following the attack, wildlife officials worked to locate the grizzly responsible. They stressed the importance of understanding bear behavior and the steps that can be taken to minimize risks in bear country. While the bear in this case was likely acting out of instinct rather than malice, it served as a chilling example of how unpredictable and dangerous these encounters can be. Clotra's death is not an isolated incident. Grizzly attacks, while rare, are a stark reminder of the raw power these animals possess. They are apex predators, capable of overwhelming even the most prepared individual in a matter of seconds. In the face of such danger, the best defense is prevention. For anyone venturing into bear country, there are vital lessons to be learned from tragedies like this. Always carry bear spray and keep it easily accessible. It is one of the most effective tools for deterring an aggressive bear. Make noise as you hike, especially in dense brush or near streams, where bears may not hear you approaching. Travel in groups whenever possible, as bears are far less likely to attack a large number of people. And above all, remain vigilant. Look for signs of bear activity, such as tracks, scat, or claw marks, and avoid areas where bears are known to frequent. Story 5. On May 22, 2021, Marion Collister was attacked by a grizzly bear, a tragedy that sent shockwaves through her community and served as a grim reminder of the unpredictable power of the wild. It was a clear afternoon when Collister set out for her walk, the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds providing the soundtrack to her journey. The trails, winding through dense forest and open meadows, were a haven for wildlife, including deer, moose, and, as she tragically discovered, grizzly bears. The attack occurred deep within her property, far from roads or neighbors, making the encounter all the more harrowing. Details pieced together by investigators suggest that Collister likely came upon the bear suddenly. It was a mature grizzly sow, aggressive and protective, possibly startled by Collister's presence. Grizzlies are notoriously territorial, and encounters with humans, especially when they feel threatened, can escalate with terrifying speed. This bear, later identified as non-lactating and with worn teeth, had a history of aggression. Whether hunger, stress, or a simple instinct to defend its space drove the attack is uncertain, but the result was devastating. The attack left clear signs of struggle. Wildlife officers responding to the scene described a chaotic mix of torn ground and broken branches, evidence of the bear's ferocity. Despite the overwhelming power of the grizzly, Collister fought bravely, but the odds were insurmountable. By the time she was discovered, it was too late. Her injuries were consistent with a fatal bear mauling, a horrifying end to a walk she had likely taken countless times without incident. In the hours following the attack, wildlife officials moved swiftly to assess the situation and protect the community. An aggressive grizzly sow and a cub were spotted nearby, adding an additional layer of complexity and fear to the situation. However, it was the capture and euthanization of a mature, non-lactating female grizzly that ultimately brought clarity. DNA testing confirmed that this bear was responsible for the attack. The decision to euthanize the animal, while necessary for public safety, was not made lightly. The bear, with its worn teeth and advanced age, may have been struggling to survive, contributing to its heightened aggression. This incident occurred just 24 kilometers from a similar tragedy. On May 4, 2021, David Lertzman was fatally attacked by a grizzly while jogging near his home. The proximity of these attacks sparked concern among locals, but DNA testing confirmed that different bears were involved. The pattern underscored the challenges of coexisting with powerful predators in a shared landscape. Pay attention to your surroundings, watching for signs of bear activity like tracks, scat, or fresh claw marks on trees. If you encounter a bear, remain calm and avoid making sudden movements. Speak in a steady, low voice to identify yourself as human, and slowly back away while keeping the bear in sight. Running is the worst thing you can do, as it may trigger the bear's instinct to chase. If an encounter escalates to a charge, stand your ground and prepare to use your bear spray when the animal comes within range. In the rare and unfortunate event of a predatory attack where the bear views you as prey, fight back with all your strength. Use rocks, sticks, or any available object to defend yourself. If you found this video insightful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the latest videos on wildlife safety, survival tips, and fascinating animal stories. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.